Hello, you guys. I just came back from Walmart, and welcome to the last part of this movie. And, um, where do we start off with? We're not start off with, I meant to say continued off with, oh yes, the scene after Sandbar had his head cut off. I have not thought about this scene. I have not thought about this scene after Sandbar getting his head cut off yet, but in this scene, when in the distance where Flurry Heart's child was probably walking or standing there, like whatever that child was doing, whatever that child was doing, it was doing the same thing as the child by Philip in the Elizabeth the Golden Age movie. I was about to say Elizabeth the First movie, but Elizabeth the Golden Age movie. But or is it Elizabeth the First Golden Age? No, it's Elizabeth the Golden Age. Yeah, but you guys get what I'm saying? That the daughter probably did. I mean, no, the daughter did the same thing as Philip's daughter in Elizabeth the Golden Age, but I just don't know about what the daughter did, like the daughter from Elizabeth the Golden Age. It's just I don't have time to look it up. Like, well, yeah, because I gotta hurry up before my brother comes back. I have to have time to do this. So, um, so, what I'm trying to say is, the quote I'm saying is what I'm saying. Like, I'm trying to say what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that, the daughter is in front of her mother, and the mother is in front of the crystal guards, and her mother is walking down with the guards by saying this: "A handsome stallion, slain by a tyrant princess. Blood must pay for blood." Now, she either said, "Twilight, bastard," or this one, "Twilight, tyrant." Like, either one of them. And, sorry, I was take a few seconds by saying tyrant, like, just to remember. I'm gonna say it again, just to make it perfect. No, even when I do not say it in the right pace as the other characters in Elizabeth the Golden Age, it's still perfect. But she said either one of them, either the sentence with bastard or the sentence with tyrant. So she said either one of them. But after she said either one of them, she then continued walking, and the guards started to move, but she stopped and making the guard stop and turn around to the guards and said this: "Gentlemen, I declared this war," something like that. Like something like that. Elizabeth the Golden Age, and also something mostly similar like Elizabeth the Golden Age. She would say this: "She will pay for what she have done. Her throne, and her title, and her life," something like that. I remember Philip did not say title, but I'm just saying whatever the possible ways that what Flurry Heart would say. But she said most of these exact words like what Philip II of Spain said in Elizabeth the Golden Age. But anyway, the next scene is one of the same guard that was telling Twilight that Sambar must die. He was saying this to Twilight: "Forgive me, Princess Twilight. I had failed you." He said something like that, and Twilight said he said something like that, like what if it's, even though it's not the exact words, it's still like Elizabeth the Golden Age, but he's saying Princess Twilight instead of "Forgive me, Your Majesty." Like, it's "Forgive me, Princess Twilight." After he said "Forgive me, Twilight, I had failed you," or I failed you, whatever right sentence that he would say, like Elizabeth the Golden Age, except for Elizabeth and Twilight, Princess Twilight, the different names. After he said that, Twilight then said this: "How do you fail me? What am I to forgive you for?" Something like that, like Elizabeth said. Like, I know it's not really. I mean, I know it's not entirely the exact words, but it's like what's. But she said the exact thing like Elizabeth said, and or how did you fail me, or how did you failed me? What am I to forgive you for? I think that's right. Or either way, even if it's right or not right, she still said the exact words like Elizabeth I in that sentence. And then after she said that, then the knight said this. Like, the knight, also known as guard, said this: "Flurry Heart has an idea, madam, who cannot declare war without a just cause. I intercepted every letter Sandbar secretly dispatched. That Spain. Well, he saw about to intercept the letters that he had secretly dispatched when Twilight was looking at his letters earlier in the movie. After he said that Sandbar secretly dispatched that sentence, he said this: I read that's. I knew. I knew that Spain. I mean, not Spain. Not like. No, not Spain from Golden Age. I'm talking about that the Crystal Empire knew I was reading them. They waited for him to write the words in my eyes confirm his crimes. Forgive me, Princess Twilight. I am doomed." Something like that. I know it's all jumbled up, but you guys get what I'm saying, right? It's the same. It's almost the same thing like Elizabeth I, the Golden Age, except for the different type of words and the name Sandbar when Francis Walsingham said it different words and said Mary Stuart. After he said the "forgive me, I am doomed," like that sentence, Twilight said this: "I ordered Sandbar's execution. I had murdered. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. It just gets it. Sometimes when you do it perfect, it just you forget about what you were like. What was next? Oh, great. Please, I hope I did not. I hope I did not fail by doing that. I hope I can just do it again. Like, let me do it again. I ordered Sandbar's execution. I had murdered Flurry Heart's knighted consort. And now I have a war to face with her. Something like that. At least, I would have said the phrase something like that anyway. So yeah. But even though I did not say it perfect, Twilight still said it perfect than me saying it perfect. So then, it shows a scene where Flurry Heart is getting ready to have a war and like getting ready to set up for practice before setting off to go to Equestria. And then the next scene is where Twilight is talking with Spike, something like this. As Twilight is saying something like this: "We are at war. Who knows if we will meet again? If we meet again." And then she says something between, like, something similar like what Elizabeth I said. I don't have to say Elizabeth I from Golden Age. I don't have to say Golden Age. I can just say the characters, like, from a Golden Age of what they're based on and what they're saying, something like them. But what she's saying between into those, whatever it was, like, something similar like, I think she would say, like, if I'm too weak, my last days will be in a Crystal Empire prison, far from home. I just bent my finger, but you guys heard what I said, right? Okay, but she said something in between before she said my last days will be in a Crystal Empire prison, far from home, that type of sentence, yeah. She said something similar like, like Elizabeth I. And then Spike was like saying this something similar like this. I don't think that's gonna happen. And then Twilight be like this. My thoughts turn darker. What would you do if you were in a prison? And something else, whatever she was saying, something like that. And Twilight said, then Spike said something like this: the more I be here, the more I would want to live, the hungrier I get to be like to hardly do anything and want help, something like that. And then after the conversation, kept going, like something similar, like Elizabeth and Walter Raleigh's conversation. Twilight said something like this: Spike, there's something that we have not done in a long time. Even right after we had first met, like after you were born. A kiss. And they started kissing. And then Twilight was laying on Spike's lap because she was worried and needed to be confronted. And then the next scene is when Twilight's guards get ready for the war, and what is her name? Drakis comes to Spike, and she says something like this to Spike: Spike, there's something I need to tell you, and I know that it's not going to be like, I know it's not what you're expecting, but I am, and and Spike said this: you're pregnant? Something like that. No, you're pregnant. That's what Twilight. That's what Spike would most likely say. And I'm sorry if I mistakenly said Twilight more times. Other times. I meant Dracula saying that to Spike, that she was trying to say that she's pregnant, but Spike then finished her sentence by saying, "You're pregnant," and then she answered by this: "Nobody knows. I cannot," whatever she said, something like Elizabeth Throckmorton, and she said, "I cannot marry a man without permission," something like that, like Elizabeth Throckmorton. And then she said something like this: this is my child, your child. And then something like that, and Spike just took her behind a wall and be like, and then he said something like what Raleigh said, and then she said what Elizabeth Throckmorton would say, like something like this, like, "Oh, go to your army. Meet me there after I have my baby. I'm gonna have to go and try to have this baby out of me," something like that. And then after that conversation ended, Spike ended up had to go, and then he went another way. He went one way and she went another way. And actually no, the both of them came, and the two were there along with the guards of Twilight, and Twilight is having a conversation that what they should do is where they could go to places, and had an idea where to go to the land. And after they had made an idea where to go, the next scene shows where the Crystal Guards are on their way, but this took a few days for them to get ready to set up for the war. This was during the nighttime where there was lightning. She woke up from the lightning and opened the window to peek her head out, like not peek her head out, but she did the same thing as Elizabeth the First. She was sensing something is wrong. Again, nothing like a Jedi, but she's sensing something's wrong because while that is happening, Drakis and Spike are secretly married. And a witness shows up, one of her guards, and when they were secretly married, and off camera, the guard tells Twilight, the guard that works with Twilight, tells her that she is pregnant. So the scene after the wedding, I'm sorry, I was about to say he. She. I did not mean to say he or she. I meant to say Twilight. Twilight was walking around saying, she was walking around she was walking around yelling her name, Drakis. And Drakis said, right here, Princess Twilight. And Twilight Sparkle said this. Um, okay, yes, I'm gonna have to. Okay, not. This is where I get to look at the quotes again, but not yet. She's saying this. Twilight is saying this. Tell me, is it true? Are you pregnant? But, Drakis did not answer. She was scared, and then causing Twilight to say this again. Are you pregnant? And then, Drakis said this. Yes, Your Majesty. Or, no, I did not mean to say or, I did not mean to say that. She was saying something like this. Yes, Princess Twilight. And she walked close to her and said this. Twilight walked close up to her and said this. You treacherous. You dare to keep secrets from me? You ask my permission before you love! Well, said that while she was attacking her. Before you get laid! Well, it's attacking her still. To have children! And she's still attacking her, and still attacking her while saying this as well. Do you hear me? Do you hear me? And then one of the guards, some of the guards of Twilight show up, and one of them was saying this. Princess Twilight, please, leave her alone. And Twilight said this. I will not leave her alone, Sir Knight. And then Twilight said this to Drakis by saying this. Is it his? Tell me, say it is the child is. Is it his? And then Drakis replied this. Yes, Princess Twilight, it is my husband's child. And then Twilight's like attacking her by doing this. You bitch! And then Spike shows up and says this. Princess Twilight, this is not the princess I love and serve. And then a few seconds of Twilight looking at Spike. She said this. This man has seduced a ward of the princess, and she has married without royal consent. And then she also said this. These offenses are punishable by law. Arrest him. She was saying that to the guards, and then the guards just staying there, didn't do anything, and then causing Twilight to say this. Go! And then they did as she told them to, and they took Spike away. Well, Spike, they didn't drag Spike. He was walking in front of the guards, and then she said to Drakis, you no longer have the princess's protection. And then Drakis says this. She said something like this. No, not something like this. It's the exact words on this, on this paper. As you wish, Princess Twilight. And then Twilight said to her, get out. And then she couldn't leave. She didn't leave. Drakis couldn't leave. She was just standing there because she's in shock. And then causing Twilight to say this. Get out! Get out! And then making, Drakis to leave. And then, while she was still angry, she was still saying to her in the distance, get out! And then she crouched and cried. Like she sat down on the floor and cried. No, she sat down on the floor and cried, and, that makes more sense of her doing that. Then we cut to Spike being, in the dungeon, and the door was shut. Oh, actually, hold on, there are actually a few prisons, okay? But the only two of them are in the movie. One is where Sandbar was at, and another one is where Twilight puts them in a prison that's near her, where Spike interrogates the criminals. Yeah. So and the guards that work at Twilight's prison near her is not the same guards that worked at the prison where, well, they still do work at the prison when Sandbar is dead, worked but they did work there because they're dead now. But what I'm saying is that those guards that were at the prison where Sandbar was at are not the same prison. I mean, are not the same prison guard. Yeah, that's what I was about to say. Are not the same prison guards that work at the prison. They're not the same prison. They're not the same prison guards that work at the prison near Twilight's castle. But anyway, it shows that prison. Once again, I said it shows that prison near Twilight's castle where Spike is imprisoned and the door is shut by the guards that work with Twilight. Yeah, yeah, that prison near Twilight's castle is also guarded by the guards that work with Twilight. After that prison scene, it cuts to black and then fades to another scene where Twilight is saying to Starlight Glimmer and Sunburst about what to do, like saying that a fallen of an empire. What am I gonna do? Because, oh God, Equestria will not fall while I am ruler. Something like that. And they find some ways to cheer her up with by making her feel better with well, not just to make her feel better. Actually, yes, to make her feel better because it makes more sense of saying that. But they're not trying to do this, like, they're not trying to, like, make her stop crying. They're just trying to give her advice what to do by just having the mind of friendship, and she can work this out with friendship and having people to help her, and that's given her an idea at the conversation. They said Starlight Glimmer and Starlight Glimmer, Sunburst, and Twilight said the same, almost all the same words in the conversation, like Cecil and Elizabeth in the Golden Age. Oh, I did not mean to say Golden Age again because you guys already know what I'm talking about, but you guys get what I'm saying, right? Okay. After Twilight after the scene of Twilight having that idea, then Twilight it shows a scene of Twilight talking to her guard, saying that what they should do, and she didn't say all prisoners are to be released from prison, are to be released. She was actually, like, Equestria is their region too. Like, that's what she would say, but she would not say, like, that's what she would say if she said that, but she did not actually say all prisoners are to be released. Equestria is their region too. She just said that release Spike. He's forgiven. It's far too forgiven. Far too long forgiven. Something like that. Something like that what Elizabeth said. And then it shows Spike with the guards out on their way to war. And because after Spike had been released from prison off camera. Oh yeah, like when Twilight was saying far too forgiven, that scene was actually fading light to the scene where Spike is out of prison with the guards going to war, and the guards were not in prison. Twilight's guards were not in prison. They were just I'm just saying that because they're with Spike on their way to war, and while they're getting ready, and the guards were trying to find, there was a scene of guards trying to find their ways to what to do to find some ways which is safe to have war, and And while that's happening, like Twilight's other guards that work with her, they say they're saying that there is very little time what to do, and something like what Francis Wilson would say to Elizabeth, and then they're out the Twilight's other guards are outside, and they when they come out of the tent with Twilight, while the other guards that work with Twilight are up on the hill, and Twilight comes up and makes a speech by saying the same thing similar to Elizabeth saying that speech in at Tilbury. Yeah. And after that speech is done, they begin to charge war, and they begin to get ready for war, and they begin to charge at the Crystal Empire guards as well, and they begin to have a fight. Now, all of them are having a fight except for the prison guards from the prison where Senbar was at. They're those guards are busy over there, working at that prison where Senbar was at, but it's not showing them working at the prison while Senbar is dead. It's just that they are still doing that off camera. But getting back to the other guards that work with, who are the ones that work with Twilight, they begin to charge to the Crystal guards, like I said, and they begin to fight, and even Spike had to find some ways, and they're doing all the same thing, like they're doing the war thing, and Walter Raleigh and like it's the same thing like Walter Raleigh and the advisors doing something and on the ships, and it's similar to what Spike is doing with his pals, the Knights. Like with his team, the Knights. Well, I'm saying pals. I also meant his team, the Knights, like what to do, but not on the ships, not in the water, but on the ground. I know there are pirate characters in My Little Pony, like in the movie. Like I know there are pirate characters in the in that dimension, but there's no need for an armada. It's just on the battlefield. So he found some ways to stop them. Some of Twilight's guards and some of the guards from by Flurry Heart are killed by obliteration of their magic by fighting each other, and Spike and some of his team that are still alive had won, and oh yes, this was happening while oh yes, I forgot to tell you guys. Actually, I didn't have to say that stuff in the lines when Twilight found out that she was pregnant, Dracus. I decided to change that with the song. The song that's referenced to Rapunzel. Rapunzel knows best, such a clever grown-up miss. That song. I decided to have that a reference to that. It's not the almost similar to Rapunzel knows best, like Dracus knows best. It's not like that. It's just something like that. It's just something like that, and something like that, like kind of a reference to that. Like, no, I did not mean to say kind of a reference. It is still a reference to that, but you know what I'm saying about that, right? So there was a song when Twilight found out that she was pregnant, and that's when she had kicked her out of her protection and kicked Spike out to prison. That's when that song was playing, and that's when, well, I mean, the music was playing while she was singing, not her song was playing. I mean, the music was playing while she was singing. And what I'm saying is, why am I talking about the song? Because it reminded me. Twilight and Flurry Heart are singing while it's two separate places. One in Twilight's under Twilight's tent or something like that, and while Flurry Heart is in her castle, and they are singing with each other. And if I said "or," I did not mean to say that. They sang two separate places. Twilight is under the tent, like I said, and Flurry Heart is in the castle, while the two are singing in like the two separate places, and while the war was going on. And that was when Florihart found out that she had lost the war. She can see it from the distance, and and this was making one of the guards, one of the other crystal guards that were supposed to protect her, were saying this. Something like this, Florihart, you may calm your wrath, something like that. But most of our guard members are dead. And she panicked and she was like, she was falling down on her. She was crouching down, like she was collapsing down. Yeah, she was collapsing down the floor. Or slowly collapsing down. Like, no, not or. She did slowly, went down, crouched down, something like that, like what Philip II did in that movie. And she was looking at her daughter, Love Crystal, realizing that she had failed to put her on the throne. And Love Crystal looks at her. Like, she's looking at her while Love Crystal is looking at her, and turn around walking away with, while having that Twilight doll with her. It shows that Twilight doll, close to, like, they're close in that camera to, I mean, it's not there, nothing, no one's working with me making this movie, it's close to the camera. I mean, the camera is close to the Twilight's doll, and before it's closing, further away from just showing her, showing Florihart's daughter walking away from her. Go and watch the movie if you know what I'm talking about, like, you know how I'm describing it. But, it's something, it is similar, no, it is exactly like that, not similar like that, it is exactly like that. So, it is not similar, it is exactly like that. So anyway, Florihart looks back to her guards, and the guards had bowed, and they walked away from her. The crystal guards I'm talking about, not Twilight's guards, the crystal guards, of course, but... Oh, yes, and there were other guards that were with Twilight to protect her under the tent, and, so, the scene, so then the scene fades to black, the scene with, Princess Florihart fades to black, and then fades back to, I mean, not fades back to, it fades to another scene where, Twilight is coming in to see Spike, and Dracus is there as well with Spike, and, they show their newly born kid named Valentina. Named after Dracus. She said Valentina, like, no, Spike would be the one. It makes sense for him to say Valentina, and Twilight saying, why are you calling her that? Something like that, and Dracus saying, Valentina I named her that because it's something similar to me, like, cause part of my name is Kiss, and Twilight was okay with that, and she's saying, well, even though with that, we always need a strong female heir, and this can be a strong female advisor heir, and a strong female advisor heir is what she's saying. And Spike and Dracus were okay with that, for their baby to grow up to be Twilight's advisor after Spike dies. So Twilight, Dracus, Spike, and the baby, and all the other friends of Twilight, but not, all of them except for the main six, because they're somewhere else in their retirements, other places where they're working at, except for almost all the young six, like, especially Sandbar, because Sandbar's dead. But there's no need for Sandbar's close friends in the young six to show up, because why would the other five show up after Sandbar is dead? And the prison guards that were there to that were the prison guards that were there when Sandbar was in prison, they were also not there in the celebration as well. But the guards that were working with Twilight are there. They are in that celebration scene, and even Sunburst and Starlight Glimmer, and but not Luster Dawn, and not Luster Dawn and her friends, and not like all the other kingdoms, but it's just the others are just the people of the crowd of Equestria that are also in the celebration. It's just a crowd that is also in the celebration, not anyone else. It's not the other kingdoms. Well, actually, yeah, the other kingdoms can as well, but still not the other characters I'm talking about, like that I've said before that are not in it. Yeah, and just in case if I did not say this, Luster Dawn and her friends were also not in it as well. All right, they were not also in it as well, and just want to say it clear, the guards that worked at the prison where Sandbar was at, they were not also there because they are busy taking care of that prison off camera, and Sandbar's closest friends were not there as well because Sandbar is dead. There's no need for them to show up, and all the other friends of Twilight were not there as well. So yeah. Oh yeah, even the ones that are not Twilight's friends, the ones that she knows are not there as well. The other ones that she does not know are not there as well. Like that she is not friends with them. Even Flurry Heart and her kingdom. You guys get what I'm saying, right? But what's actually also there is the crowd in Equestria is what I'm talking about. So anyways, now that I've said who is there and who is not there, let's talk about the song that Twilight uses to sing along with the people that are there in the celebration, and it's kind of like a reference of Twilight raising up the baby like Lion King, like from the balcony. She races up from the balcony, and everyone's happy and cheering, and that's the end of the movie. Yeah, so yeah, the movie ends with the song ending. So yeah, that is it for the movie, and I hope you guys enjoyed those 3 parts. I'm sorry for this to be a little bit short. I thought it was going to be longer, but I realized it's not that long to talk about it. But anyway, I'll explain about this. I'll explain about other things in other videos, so take care.